Hello everyone, Chris Gaming here and welcome back to another video. We are back now with the F1 2016 career mode with the Monaco Grand Prix. I'm not looking forward to this one at all. I know it's just going to go horribly through every single way, but hopefully with the Haas car we can be somewhat competitive. And I haven't decided to record practice this time because I feel as though it's just getting repetitive at this point. It's just doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. And it's just getting stupid at this point of the practice. The practice isn't boring as such, but it gets way too formulaic to put in videos for all of the rounds. But I'll just show you the results as they will come up on screen very shortly. And there we are. We got perfects in all of the practice programs, which I was actually quite surprised about because I didn't expect the Haas to be that good around Monaco, but there you go.
Hey, looks like you've got a bit of rivalry going on out there. This is good. Gets people talking about you. Just make sure you outperform them, okay?
You see, I should give some context here. Because my recording's messed up, I had to redo the season again, which, and one, very much annoyed me, and two, put the championship like this, so now I have to face Sebastian Vettel as my rival.
Hi. Just letting you know that we've had the team's expectations through for the upcoming qualifying session.
Luckily the qualifying goals aren't that bad, apart from the Vettel one, but that is going to be a very tall order to try and beat Sebastian Vettel in the Ferrari, because he's got a better car, and he's a better driver, but never mind. On to the qualifying session, shall we? Monaco is quite possibly one of the glamorous locations on the F1 calendar. But behind all of the glamour and the money and everything else in Monaco, there is a very difficult circuit and a very difficult qualifying session, let alone the 78 laps in the race, for the drivers to get through. Everybody was keeping their eyes down the whole of the field. Haas looked seemingly may have had a bit of a more difficult session, considering this track requires a lot of downforce and their car seemed to lack that. But going into qualifying, it wasn't the downforce that they needed to worry about. It was keeping their car on the track. After a frightening crash with their main driver ended up 150 miles an hour into Sandavot, and he had a massive accident. A trip to the medical centre and some more checks done afterwards to the car revealed everything was alright. But Haas had a job to rebuild the car in time for the race. After a red flag, the chase for pole was back on. Raikkonen was the slowest of the main top people, as well as Daniel Ricciardo. They relinquished in 5th and 6th. They neither seemed happy with the car and were well off the pace of their teammates, but more on them later. Mercedes should have been favourites coming into this Grand Prix, considering they are always just on outright pace, normally quicker than everybody else. But it wasn't to be. They were 3rd and 4th, with Rosberg outqualifying Hamilton. Vettel laid down the early gauntlet for everybody to beat, and gave everyone a good challenge. However, his challenge was picked up and beaten by the young Dutchman in the Red Bull. Max Verstappen stormed to his first pole position of the season and the first of his Formula 1 career, acing the Monaco circuit and just seeming on the pace for all of the weekend. So your starting grid for the Monaco Grand Prix is Max Verstappen, Sebastian Vettel, Nico Rosberg, Lewis Hamilton, Kimi Raikkonen, Daniel Ricciardo, the main Haas driver, Carlos Sainz, Sergio Perez, Jenson Button, Daniel Kvyat, Fernando Alonso, Valtteri Bottas, then Rio Haryanto and Pascal Verheilen both having very good qualifying sessions with Manor, Grosjean seeming off the pace of his teammate, Marcus Ericsson, Nico Hulkenberg, Felipe Massa having a bad session, Jolyon Palmer, Kevin Magnussen and Felipe Nasr brings up the back of the field.
Hello, I just wanted to pass on the team's expectations for this race. Good luck.
So yeah, we had a rather large crash in qualifying, it must be said, but luckily we managed to get the car rebuilt for the race, and we will get it done. We have an upgrade coming in for the next race in Canada, which is just a chassis weight upgrade, which seems to be the most powerful upgrade as such. It seems to be the most effective one. But yeah, let's get on to quite possibly the biggest Grand Prix of 2016, which is the Monaco Grand Prix. Speaking of which, we are now on the grid with those 5 red lights. They are coming on now. We have the 5 red lights. Lights out and away we go. A bit of a longer light sequence there. You can see us in about the middle of the pack there. Raikkonen, very terrible start from P5 on the grid. And we're going to side by side now with Hamilton up the hill towards Casino Square. He's hit us. He's in the wall. We're in the wall. And there's a safety car on lap 1 of the Monaco Grand Prix. That is normal, but Hamilton out of the race. Raikkonen out of the race as well. Whoa, okay, that was a bit of a manic start to this Grand Prix. Let's have a look back. From the onboard now from Hamilton. You can see he gets a relatively decent start. He decides to be a bit cautious into turn 1. We go diving up the inside. We're just now sandwiched basically between the two Mercedes and the wall. And, well, it's 2 into 1 in Monaco. And Raikkonen just doesn't see Hamilton. And there's a big, big collision at the top of the hill. And no wonder the safety car got put out for that. As we move on to the end of lap 1, though, I had an idea. I was going to make this safety car work for me in the strategy, and I was going to box on lap 1 for a set of super soft tyres, and we were going to take them to the end of this Grand Prix in the hope that getting the pit stop out of the way now meant that we just didn't have to deal with the pit stop later and lose the time. That was my thinking. I was taking strategy over track position. So we are leaving the pits now, getting the achievement. Pit, I believe it's pit under the safety car under the team's recommended strategy. Whatever it is, we come out in P9. We are behind Valtteri Bottas, and we're having to race a little bit. Pascal Verheugen out of the pit lane, and we hold our position over him, which is good. We did not want to get stuck behind a manor at the beginning of this Grand Prix. So we're moving to the end of the safety car period now, because obviously nothing's going to happen. It's the safety car period. We are into the Rascas section. And green flag now. We are back underway racing. We try to have a look at the inside of Valtteri Bottas. Tried to have a bit of a sneaky look at the inside, but it didn't work, and that just compromised our run. And Verheugen almost looking a little bit threatening behind, but it doesn't come to anything. As we're now following Valtteri Bottas on lap 7 through the swimming pool section, getting a good run here, thinking of moving the inside into Rascas, and we get the move done now on the flying fin, as he doesn't actually go for the pits. They're still not quite in the pit lane, but we get the DRS on the exit, and we get a run on. To get away from the Williams, but we're down to P6, so a few cars have started to make their pit stops. And on to, I believe, lap 9, I think this is. We pull pretty much the exact same move on Carlos Sainz. He makes for the pit lane and hits us on the way in. But rejoice in a minute, ladies and gentlemen, because we are in P1 for now for the Monaco Grand Prix. And that was pretty much the big highlight of this race. And not much happened afterwards. We were out in the lead, trying to hold our advantage over Max Verstappen. That didn't happen. And Max closed us down lap after lap. He got held up behind Grosjean, who was starting on the super soft tyres. But this was the race now. We had, well, for the last 3 or 4 laps, we had Verstappen following us. I made a complete hash of the swimming pool section there. But this was it. Verstappen glued to the back end of our car. Just tow rope on the end. As I said in Russia, we tow roped onto Rosberg. He's tow roped onto our car. And he's just getting us to drag him around Monaco now. This is seriously close. And I believe this was the last couple of laps of the race. But as we actually move on to the beginning of the final lap, we still have the Red Bull behind us. Our tyres are shot. We're running out of fuel. We're looking alright though for it. We start the final lap just about 6 tenths maybe ahead of the Red Bull, but I think, considering he hasn't overtaken into turn 1, we have a good chance of winning this race now. Into the swimming pool section for the final time. We've got to keep it clean for Rascas, make sure we don't hit the wall. We do. There's just one corner to go now, and if everything goes to plan, then ladies and gentlemen, we have won the Monaco Grand Prix in a Haas Formula 1 car. Get in! Well, what can you say after a Grand Prix like that? Safety car on lap 1 worked perfectly to our advantage. And to be honest, I'm happy that I re-recorded this race now. We ended up P5 in the original recording of this after my race is corrupted in the Elgato file. Thank you very much for that. Wasn't happy about that, but I was definitely happy that I got to rerun the race, and this is how it ended. P1 in only the 6th race of the season. Yeah, you can claim maybe I'm a bit too easy, but it's on legend. It's a bit too easy, but it's on legend difficulty. I want to have fun with the career mode. I don't want to suffer through finishing, well, having to scrape for a final few points. It's kind of, yeah, that's probably a bit more realistic to a Haas, but that's not what I want to do. But regardless, we pick up our final resource points of the weekend. Put on there. Nicely, we have over 400 now. But that will do it for this episode, guys. Thank you very much for watching, if you did. I don't really know what to say, really. Apart from thank you very much for watching if you did. Hope you're looking forward to the next episode, which will be at Canada, which could be a bit of an interesting one. Look out for that one. But I will see you then, guys. Goodbye.